What's up, guys? It's Ty with H24 Outdoors, and today I'm going to be talking about pegging your Texas rigs. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically just a little piece of silicone that does not, it makes your weights stay still. It doesn't let your weights slide up the line and keeps it down there at the nose of the hook. And I'm going to be going over if you should or shouldn't. And the short answer to that is yes, you should and shouldn't depending on what you're doing. It totally depends on where you're fishing, how deep you're fishing, and what you're fishing. And I'm gonna be going over when you should and when you shouldn't, and also a little bit extra of things that you can do to your Texas rigs to help you out. And if you don't know what a Texas rig is, check out our video on Texas rigs on our channel. But without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys. So pegging your Texas rig weights is nothing new at all. I just know that when I was getting into fishing, I would watch a lot of YouTube videos, as you do when you get into new hobbies. But some guys would have their weights pegged, some guys wouldn't have their weights pegged, and I was always wondering why is this guy doing it? Why is this guy not doing it? But as I've fished, I've learned times that it's applicable to do so and times that it's not. So I'm just basically going to go over kind of the pros and cons of pegging your Texas rig weights. And I will go over the pros first. And the first one is that the weight doesn't move. And you might be thinking to yourself, why is it a pro if the weight doesn't slide up the line? It helps you not to get hung up. If you're fishing a deep brush pile, you don't want a free swinging bait in there, and you have, say, if your bait comes up 6 inches, you've got all this line to get wrapped up into who knows what. But once you have all this line to get hung up, then you're breaking off and losing money on baits. So yeah, when you peg it, you have a very slim chance of getting hung up, or a very lesser chance of getting hung up. Also, that bullet weight does a great job at coming out of snags just because it's got the nose that comes up. Um, but yeah, the next pro is that you can fish tight cover with these things. With a pegged Texas rig, you can fish in grass. Now, don't fish in grass that's too thick without using braided line because mono and fluoro doesn't do great in grass. But if you got braided line, you can throw it in lily pads and grass. It's what they call flipping, just using a heavy weight to punch through grass mats and lily pads and all that good stuff. But you can fish grass. You can skip docks phenomenally with a pegged Texas rig. Don't even attempt to skip a Texas rig that isn't pegged because that weight's going to slide up, and then your bait's going to be over here, the weight's going to be over here, and then the weight's going to catch. And then you're going to have a big backlash, and you're going to be saying not good words. But like I said, you can fish any cover with these baits. You can fish open water. It's not probably the best way to fish open water, which I'll explain in a little bit. But yeah, just the fact that it doesn't move is such a plus because it's saving you from getting hung up. And once you're getting around trees, especially, just that little bit of line is enough to just hang up on stuff, like I said. But there is an application because I know I'm making it sound like you have to peg them, but there is a lot of scenarios where you don't need to peg them and you need to leave it free swinging. One of those scenarios is when you're fishing open water, like if you're dragging a bank, like a spawning flat. You do not want to throw a peg Texas rig because there is no crawfish in the world that just immediately just goes down at 1,000 miles an hour. Especially if you're fishing open water, you're probably using a heavy weight, so that makes it fall even faster. So letting it fall once that weight comes down, does it when I pick it up, that thing just has time to just kind of flurry down in a natural presentation, kind of weightless. And then once you get dragging this thing, that weight is going to get ahead of the bait. And when it's ahead of the bait, that bait just kind of does its own thing, kind of like a Carolina rig. It just gives a really subtle and natural presentation that triggers the fish to bite. I will say be careful for rocks because rocks love to eat weights that are by themselves. So do with that information as you will. But yeah, once you're fishing it, it's just a way more natural presentation. And I will tell you this, if you put like a bead and a knocker under your weight and you're fishing it free swinging, this is my tip I mentioned earlier. Um, a lot of times bass are just gonna follow this bait for probably your whole cast sometimes. And if your weight just comes back and clicks like so, like if it just just makes a little noise, that can be enough to trigger a bass to hit it, and that can be the that can be the difference of catching a fish and not catching a fish. So yeah, put a bead and knocker. There's no reason not to. I try to use a bead knocker like most of the time. It just adds a little bit of noise. And I will give you one more tip. If you peg your Texas rig weight and you still want the noise of a bead and knocker, just put it like an inch above and then it's gonna click a little more. So that's what I found. I don't like to just peg it all the way to the nose whenever um, I have a glass bead and a knocker. I like to put it just an inch above just to give it a little bit of click and clack. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have as far as the meat of this video goes. All right, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I know this is a pretty short video. There wasn't much to it, but I appreciate you watching. If you made it to the end, please like and subscribe. We're trying to reach 1,000 followers. Um, but yeah, thank you for watching. If I left something out or if I said something that you think was wrong, please let me know down in the comments below. Um, but yeah, we got Labor Day weekend. It's Friday for me, so we got Labor Day weekend this weekend. This video is going to be going out on Sunday. So I hope that you all get to spend your Labor Day fishing and having a great day. So without further ado, peace, guys.